why when we drink alcohol does it ruin our recovery rate? And here's the big thing. Tracking is a big thing that we want to continue to do to make sure that we're performing at the highest level. And I know we've all heard alcohol wrecks our recovery. It hinders the way in which we perform. But why is that? I want to take a look at it, and I want to really dive into the numbers and the data so that we can choose how we partake in alcoholic consumption, how we enjoy our life socially, and how we balance that for performance. So when we take a look at alcohol intake, we know that when we take in alcohol, it increases our resting heart rate, decreases our HRV, interrupts our sleep cycle at that circadian rhythm level, doesn't allow us to get as deep into our REM cycle. But how can we do this in a better way? Well, as a natural diuretic, alcohol dehydrates us. And we know that anytime we get dehydrated, because our body's made of 75% water, our brain, our heart, and our lungs are made about 85% water, it affects our heart rate, it affects our blood pressure, it affects our clarity of thought, and thus, again, puts us in a compromised or a sympathetic state that our body's constantly trying to find that homeostatic balance. So when we take in this and it puts us in that sympathetic area, it's going to have a negative effect on our overall recovery rate. Now, from a dehydration level, if every 16-ounce beverage or 8-ounce beverage, whatever it is we're drinking, we counteract that with the same amount of water, it will help with our resting heart rate as well as that blood pressure. Now, by doing so, can also help counteract the effects of alcohol on our body. So that's number one. Number two is, as we drink alcohol, as we take it in, let's try and pair it with some change in nutrition. So making sure that we've had our appropriate amount of salads, appropriate amount of fruit, appropriate amount of carbohydrates and protein throughout the day, so that at night, once we've taken in the alcohol, we're not poised to go and start eating pizza and other fast food items that are already prevalent and are going to increase that sympathetic overload on the body, thus interrupting our sleep patterns, thus interrupting the circadian rhythm, thus not allowing us to get as deep into that slow wave and REM cycle that is really going to, again, help us from a physical and mental restorative level. Now, when we take a look back at the effect of alcohol in our body, that is why so often when we do have 1, 2, 3, 10 drinks in a night, we see that HRV really drop. And the reason the HRV drops is because our body's like, okay, something's just happened. We've taken in a foreign substance and it's thus dehydrated us. It's increased that resting heart rate. It's increased the blood pressure. It's changed the quality of thought process that happens. And because of this, again, can have that major effect on recovery. So if we're going to indulge, at least I indulge, we got the weekly wind down. It's a part of really the social aspect of life that we truly enjoy. There's a way to do it safely, there's a way to do it effectively, and there's a way to do it so it doesn't inhibit our performance. And that's making sure that we're balancing it with the intake of water, we're balancing it with the intake of quality food, and we're also making sure that it doesn't throw off our sleep cycle terribly, and thus that would involve probably drinking at dinner or something other than just a big on blowout at night. And again, the reason that it shows that is because of the effect of HRV, the effect on our parasympathetic nervous system, adding to that sympathetic overload. So making sure that all our other habits throughout the day are again pushing towards that sympathetic area. And that's why alcohol will always have an effect on our recovery, but how you can maximize the effectiveness to minimize the overall change. Go over.